Okay, we're live.
Okay, we are live. I want to welcome everyone to this meeting of the Subcommittee on of Health and Government Operations and Health Facilities Subcommittee. We have two bills on our agenda for today. First is House Bill 130. Tyler?
So we're picking up on HB 130 from last week. That's the Commission on LGBTQ Affairs being established. So again, to help remind everyone, this would establish a commission on LGBTQ affairs in the Governor's Office of Community Initiatives. The commission would assess challenges facing the LGBTQ community, collect data across state agencies on the implementation of inclusive policies, and study best practices for the inclusion of LGBTQ individuals and communities. Two questions that came up last week. There was a question of one of the duties of the commission is that the commission would work with counties, municipalities that were looking to establish inclusive LGBTQ inclusive laws or policies at their own level. And so there's a question about that. I wasn't sure as I was digging deeper into it, Delegate Kipke, if you meant lobbying in the formal statutory sense or kind of broadly. So I just both parts fairly quickly in the memo that was sent around. It would not meet the statutory definition of lobbying as is defined in general provisions and in state government. But there's precedence for this similar policy work around other executive commissions, bodies, councils. They have similar names along those lines. So for example, the Maryland Cybersecurity Council recommends legislative changes to address cybersecurity issues and works with local governments. And then the Commission on Indian Affairs helps communities gain recognition with the federal government. And then probably the closest analogy is the Maryland Advisory Council on the Deaf and Hard of Hearing. And they specifically have to work with counties to adopt provisions of the American with Disabilities Act of 1990 and relevant state laws as well. There was another question that came up about funding, and members of the commission are not allowed to be compensated for their work on the commission. But then there was a concern with how the commission itself can be compensated, or not really compensated so much as accept gifts, grants, donations, bequests, and endowments. That language is identical to the already existing Commission on African American History and Culture and the Commission on Indian Affairs, which are both part of the government's Office of Community Involvement. And in any cases, if there are concerns of any improprieties, that all of those commissions that I listed, so the new LGBTQ Affairs Commission included, are subject to audit from the Office of Legislative Audits. So hopefully that addresses everyone's questions, but if there's more or further discussion, I'll turn it back over to Chair Rosenberg.
Thank you for that thorough analysis. Are there any further questions from members of the subcommittee? If not, is there a motion on the bill?
So move.
So moved by the vice chair. Move is favorable. Is there any further discussion? Let's do it as we do in full committee. If people could use the hand sign to indicate that they wish to discuss. So that we should call on a motion for favorable, we call the roll. Tyler, can you call the roll?
Okay. We've been doing voice votes before, but we can.
Oh, okay. And if there's anybody who objects, fine. I'm fine. All right. All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed to the favorable? Please raise your hand.
Aye.
Anyone who is opposed to the favorable, please raise your hand.
Virtual
Delegate.
hand or regular hand?
Right or left? I see two hands raised. That is Delegate Saliga and Delegate Chisholm. Okay, so there's a favorable. Bill is receives a favorable, will go to the full committee. Next bill is House Bill 390. I would like to speak to that first. Since we had the recommendation for a letter, I've become aware that there is a 20-page outline of the report at issue here on this hospital bill that has been made available to, at a minimum, to Delegate Johnson, sponsor the bill, and Delegate Lasanti. The additional document that the letter would have requested contains proprietary information, and both the full committee chair and I have believed that would not be appropriate for us to be asking for a document with proprietary information to be made available. Is there any further discussion? If
I
not,
move unfavorable.
okay, move is for an unfavorable. All those in favor of the unfavorable, say aye.
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 Anyone who wishes to be recorded in no to the unfavorable, please raise your real anatomical hand. Delegate Johnson. Okay, that bill will receive an unfavorable. There is no further business before the subcommittee. Everyone is free until 1:30 with regard to committee matters. Tyler, stay online so you and I can just have a conversation to follow up about the prior briefing.
I'll give you a phone call. I think that'll be easier.
Fine. Oh, because we might be in the whole wide world of the web, right? Cool.
Exactly.
Fine.